Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take the roll, please.
Trustee Bond?
Here.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Hines?
Yay.
Trustee Burley?
Here.
Trustee Keck?
Yes.
Trustee Hazemir?
Yay.
Okay, moving on, the first item under public participation this evening is the public comments. This is a 2-minute opportunity for residents and anybody in the audience to address the board. And each speaker needs to state their name and address and sign in, and then you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Keep your remarks short, to the point, and if there are a number of people talking about the same subject, you may want to select a spokesperson for the group, or else, unless the remarks are different from each one. Keep in mind, it's not a time to debate issues. The village board needs time to research and consider questions or issues, so you most likely will not be receiving an immediate response from the board for this evening. So, is there anybody that would like to speak? Please come down to the podium. Sign in. State your name.
Michelle Metzke.
Awesome.
I forget.
I think you missed one. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Michelle Metzke, and I live at 2816 Bryan Lane. I'm here to discuss the recent flooding as a result of the storm. We are located in the Lakewood Creek West subdivision. I, along with my concerned neighbors, are here today to bring to your attention the major problem that we are having with drainage under the ComEd power lines. While it was expected due to the quantity of water from the storm that would have some accumulation, we did not expect this outcome. The water did come into this area quickly, and it did begin receding until late Sunday. As of today, April 22nd, the water is down about 6 inches, but much water still remains. In my opinion, this drainage issue was bad when we moved in 7 years ago, but has gotten worse since the Park District built out the sports complex on the north side of Route 30. 5 years ago, the ComEd easement flooded, but it was not to this extent. Also, it was fully receded within a couple of days. We, the residents of Lakewood Creek West, are asking the village to please take action to help resolve this issue for future storms. We would like continued communication from the board and/or village engineers on possible solutions to drain the water. On a positive note, the Public Works Department did a phenomenal job delivering sandbags and sand very rapidly to our house. I was personally moved by the response of my neighbors. We had approximately 25 people filling sandbags in our driveway and placing them around several homes in our area. This went on until the last bag was placed at 10 p.m. on Thursday. As you can tell, we have a strong neighborhood, and we look forward to working with you in the future to help resolve this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can make a few comments.
Would you like to go ahead at this point? Because there may be others that wish to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak before I ask the engineer for his comments? Oh, go ahead.
I know this morning Public Works was at Lakewood Creek West, and they did pull the restrictor out at the outlet for the basin. I think there was some suspicion that it may have been clogged or partially clogged. So that's been done. We agree that that basin particularly hasn't drained as efficiently as the other basins, so we believe there may be something else wrong. We're going to need to do some investigation to determine what it is. So we'll want to gather some additional information, but I know that Public Works is trying to keep an eye on that basin at this time. So there has been some activity there, but the water has been standing longer than we would have expected as well.
Did you folks heard the comments from the engineer? Well, we will make sure that there's correspondence with you and keep you up to date on everything, okay? And thank you. Okay, the next item is a public hearing for the bond issue, and I will open the public hearing at this time and ask our Administrator Jeff Zoffel to discuss.
Thank you, President Michelini. We are holding this public hearing to be in compliance with the Bond Issuance Notification Act. This does relate to the bonds being contemplated for the Boulder Hill construction project. You remember we passed an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $8.5 million in bonds. Bids are going out, and once we have those back, we will determine exactly what we're going to issue. With that, we'd just be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from anybody in the audience concerning this bond issue? Not hearing any, I'll close the hearing at this time. Thank you, we'll move on. The next is a proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. I'll read the proclamation and entertain a motion for approval. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government that exists in countries throughout the world. And whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local government bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, province, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, Marilyn McElhaney, President of the Village of Montgomery, do hereby proclaim May 5th through May 11th to be Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend application to our village clerk, Heidi Didzig, Deputy Clerk Debbie Buchanan, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Take the roll, please.
Trustee Heinz.
Yay.
Trustee Rowley.
Yes.
Trustee Keck.
Yes.
Trustee Kazmir.
Yay.
Trustee Bond.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
And the motion carries. The next item is a proclamation for motorcycle awareness. Whereas safety is the highest priority for the highways and streets of our village and state. And whereas Illinois is proud to be a national leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness. And whereas motorcycles are a common and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion. And whereas it is especially important that the citizens of our village and state be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. And whereas the members of ABATE, a brotherhood aimed toward education of Illinois, Inc., continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school driver's education programs and to the general public in our village and state, presenting motorcycle awareness programs to over 100,000 participants in Illinois in the past 5 years. And whereas all motorcyclists should support ABATE of Illinois, Inc., in actively promoting the safe operation of motorcycles, as well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, awareness, and respect of the citizens of our village and state. And whereas the motorcyclists of Illinois have contributed extensive time, money, and community service to national and community charitable organizations for the enhancement and support of these organizations. And whereas during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the village of Montgomery and throughout the great state of Illinois. Therefore, I, Marilyn Michelini, Village President of the Village of Montgomery in the great state of Illinois, in recognition of 26 years of ABATE in Illinois, Inc., and over 615,000 registered motorcyclists statewide, and in recognition of the continued role Illinois serves as a leader in motorcycle safety education and awareness, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2013 as Motorcycle Awareness Month in the Village of Montgomery, and urge all motorists to join in an effort to improve safety and awareness on our roadways. And with that, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Take the roll, please.
Trustee Heinz.
Yay.
Trustee Brawley.
Yes.
Trustee Keck.
Yes.
Trustee Kazmir.
Yay.
Trustee Bond.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
And the motion carries. And the next item is a recognition, and I'm going to turn this over to Administrator Jeff Stoffel.
Thank you, President Michelini. We'll move to the podium for this and ask President Michelini to join me. I'd just like to recognize those board members who will be leaving the board at this time. Got President Michelini, who has been well celebrated already for her retirement, deservedly so. But we'd like to recognize her one more time for everything she has done to both promote and support the village in her time, from 1987 to 2001 as village trustee, and 2001 to 2013 as village president. So,
Thank you very
our
much,
appreciation.
Jeff. Thank you very much. And it's my honor to ask William C. Keck Jr. to come up to the podium. And I have a plaque. I have to say, we're going to miss you, Bill. Presented to William C. Keck Jr. in grateful appreciation for 20 years of service to the community. Village trustee from 1993 to 2013. So. Thank you very much for all your services. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
And next, ask Andrew Kazmarek Jr. to come forward, please. And I want to say I appreciate having you on the board these last 4 years, and this is in grateful appreciation for the 4 years of service to the community. Village trustee from 2009 to 2013. So.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for a break, and we're gonna have cake, and I don't know, I didn't look and see what's up there, coffee and something to drink, and we'll have a little celebration in celebration of the people that are leaving us tonight, and so we'll give you a 15, 20, half an hour, whatever you want.
Oh, we don't need that.
Go
much.
up. You don't need that much. Okay, we'll limit it to 15 now. Anyway,
Say what you think.
please go up and have cake, something to drink.
You're a fast eater, though, huh?
Call the meeting back to order. We're going to skip the first one and go to the historic preservation. We'll meet May 20th at 6:30 in the community room. And intergovernmental committee, trustee Lee.
Be Tuesday, May 28th, 6 o'clock, community room.
Thank you. Under consent agenda, we have several items. I'll go ahead and read them and then entertain a motion for approval. Minutes of the special village board meeting on March 19, 2013. accounts payable through April 16, 2013, in the amount of $1,090,813.77. Building report for March 2013. Accounts receivable report for March 2013. Request from the VFW to conduct buddy copy days on May 17th and 18th, 2013. Request from Family Outreach Program to conduct tag days on May 24th and 25th, 2013. Cancellation of the May 8th, 2013 Committee of the Whole meeting. And with that, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Was that you, Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Hines?
Yay.
Trustee Brawley?
Yes.
Trustee Keck?
Yes.
Trustee Kizmir?
Yay.
Trustee Bond?
Yes.
And the motion carries. Under items for separate action, the first item is a request from Oswego Land Park District to waive the tap-on fees for the Windrock Pool. And I'm going to turn this over to Administrator Jeff Zofel.
Thank you, President Michelini. This is the item we discussed last week at our Committee of the Whole. They are going to pay what I would call the hard costs, where we actually have an outlay of cost for the meter, but they are asking us if we would waive the tap fee for them. We have done this for other governmental bodies in the past, so I guess with that, we did cover it last week, and we would just look for the board to take action. We'll answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions, first of all, of Administrator Zofel? Do you have any questions, any comments?
Probably the same comments we made at the Committee of the Whole meeting, that it's one taxing body taking money to pay another taxing body, so it's, plus I seen they had a $11,000 asbestos problem there that they ran into, and since we're not, it's not any hard item, it's just the fees they're adding, I can't see, they're probably gonna need that 95 to pay for that, so.
And did you have a comment, Trustee Bond?
Well, I would like to clarify, we would perform some inspection and engineering services, so there would be some labor cost involved.
We do, as part of the building permit fees, that includes inspection fees, and they would be paying the permit fees. It's just the tap fee
Okay,
that they're looking to waive.
okay, that's helpful.
So is this clear that we will waive the tap-on fees, right?
Yes.
And that's clear? I guess I'm not hearing any other conversation. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Take the roll, please.
Trustee Lee, I'm sorry, was it you again?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Trustee Lee, okay. Trustee Hines?
Nay.
Trustee Brawley?
Yes.
Trustee Keck?
No.
Trustee Kizmir?
No.
Trustee Bond?
Yes?
Was that three?
3-3.
I'll say yes.
3-3.
Aye is broken. So the motion does carry. The next item is the ordinance 1547, amending the water conservation ordinance. This is a waiver of the first and passage on second reading. And I'm going to defer to Engineer Waller on this one for explanation.
Thank you, Village President. The request this evening is to make a slight amendment to the village's water conservation ordinance, which would bring us to be consistent with the recommendation for the Northwest Water Planning Alliance, which has basically proposed a model water conservation ordinance for a 5-county region so that we can get each municipality doing the same type of water conservation for lawn watering. The only real change to our ordinance is currently we have some dates when the even odd watering starts, like May 1st, and we switch over. We're just eliminating those dates, so there's no longer any, it's always in effect, so that when you're watering your lawn, it'd be even odd. When we went through this at the NWPA, what we realized was most people aren't watering their lawns in April or May, or April particularly, so we didn't think it would have much impact as far as a regular user, and the even odd system gives people quite a bit of time to actually do their watering. So it's not really a significant change, but then it would be in compliance with the NWPA recommended ordinance, and we're trying to get as many communities to adopt that as we possibly can. So that's really what the revision is this evening. We ask for approval of the amendment.
there any questions of Engineer Wallers? Is this something you're familiar with, or have any questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Moved and seconded, take the roll, please.
Trustee Hines.
Yay.
Trustee Rowley.
Yes.
Trustee Keck.
Yes.
Trustee Kazmir.
Yay.
Trustee Bond.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
And the motion carries. The next item is a request for advance authorization to purchase a bucket truck at a cost not to exceed $75,000. And since our Director Pubens had a death in the family, he's not with us this evening. I'm going to turn this over to Administrator Zoffel to explain this item.
Thank you, President Michelini. In the fiscal year 14 budget that was approved in March, there was a line item for a bucket truck in the amount of $75,000. Our plan had been to, when we found one, to bring it to you for approval. What we have found is when a used one comes available, they disappear very quickly. And so it's hard to get to you in time before it's gone. So what we're looking for is authorization to purchase one as long as it does not exceed the budgeted amount, and then we would come and report to you afterwards. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions about this item?
Mike did include in there some examples of trucks that have been available that we haven't gotten, that we'd be looking for something similar. As he said in there, he sat down with his public works guys to look at what they, what their needs, must-haves were for it. And so it gives you an idea of what they're looking for there.
So are there any questions or concerns? If not, I'd entertain a motion to
So
approve.
move.
Second?
Moved and seconded, take the roll, please.
Trustee Hines.
Yay.
Trustee Rowley.
Yes.
Trustee Keck.
Yes.
Trustee Kazmir.
Yay.
Trustee Bond.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
And the motion passes unanimously. The next item, item D, is a waiver of bid and authorization to contract with Patent Power Systems to provide generator maintenance at Public Works, Police Station, Ogden Hill Booster Station, Village Hall, Fairfield Lift Station, and West Tank in the annual amount of $12,168 and no cents. And here again, I'm going to defer this to Administrator Jeff Zoffel.
Thank you, President Michelini. Patent Power Systems has provided this service to the village for several years in a very satisfactory manner. While they work on all types of generators, they specialize in Caterpillar, and three of our most important ones are Caterpillar generators, that being the police station, the Nell Road water plant, and Well 14. Again, since they provided good service to us in the past, we're requesting a waiver and to continue working with them. I'd be happy to answer any questions if I can.
That's
Any
good.
questions?
That's a dang good price, and I make a motion, we accept that.
Are there any questions before I ask for a second? If no questions, is there a second to the motion?
Second?
Okay, moved and seconded, take the roll, please.
Trustee Hines.
Yay.
Trustee Rowley.
Yes.
Trustee Keck.
Yes.
Trustee Kazmir.
Yay.
Trustee Bond.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
The motion carries, thank you. Under the next items for discussion, the item A is discussion of an agreement with Ryland Homes regarding the purchase of lots in Orchard Prairie North and Saratoga Springs. And I'm going to turn this over to Assistant Administrator Ludwig to explain this.
Thank you. I'm excited to report that staff has been in discussions with Ryland Homes about the acquisition and purchase of the remaining lots in Orchard Prairie North and Saratoga Springs. It's about 27 lots in Orchard Prairie North and 30 in Saratoga Springs. So we're excited about this potential. As Ryland looked to purchase these from Inland, they're in the process of doing their due diligence. And as happens on many occasions, there are quite a few items that have come up that they want to work through before they move forward with the purchase of these lots. So in the packet, I've kind of outlined three categories for you that we've kind of at the staff level broken these into. The first one is what I'm calling assurances. There is an agreement on the property that will be expiring in 2014, and there are several technical clarifications regarding plan reviews and zoning and things that Ryland would like to have from the village in writing so that they can be sure as they build out these lots that we don't later, that they know what they're getting themselves into, things that are unclear and that we would be sort of committing to. Most of those staff and Ryland are in agreement with and we're working through. And we'll have the specifics before you in an agreement to look at, hopefully, at the next board meeting. The second item is fees. Ryland has looked at, currently in place, we have a $2,000 fee reduction program that is set to expire in April of 2014. If you'll recall, we put that in place to try to encourage builders to purchase lots in stalled subdivisions and sort of even the playing field in our vacant lots. At the time of that discussion, we did think that we would put a cap on it in hopes that the economy would rebound. Ryland is asking for the consistency of the fee waiver throughout the duration of the construction of these lots. They also did ask for additional, even beyond the $2,000, but we are not recommending that. So we have looked at this, and staff is recommending that we extend the $2,000 reduction for the build-out of these subdivisions. Just to give you an idea, and we have this breakdown that we can provide in more detail, but the fee cost per house, the total is estimated at about $14,000. So of that, about 35% comes to the village, so close to $5,500, and that is in the form of the building permit, engineering fees, and a water meter fee, $3,600 for a water tap-on fee, and an impact fee for the village. So that would be the fee that we would be talking about. It would be going from somewhere around $6,000 to about $4,000 that the village would be collecting per house. We would not be impacting the fees that are collected for the school district, the fire district, or the library district. So that would be coming forward in a recommendation. If the board is in agreement with that, we'd like to get your feedback on that item. And then the third item that has come up is sort of the concept of marketing signage for Ryland. Jeff, could you flip to the page in the packet, Orchard Prairie North sign proposal?
We will see.
Basically, Ryland has proposed some additional signage. In the report, you will read the language in our ordinance that staff was trying to follow, called on-site residential and off-site residential, that dictates temporary residential marketing signs. And it speaks to size requirements and then does give some flexibility with regards to location. So the map, please. So basically, staff went through and evaluated the request from Ryland based on our ordinance and has come up with sort of two shortfalls that were occurring. The first was the size requirement. There were some signs that were just too big. And then the second was there were several signs that are proposed on village property. So with regards to, I actually think it's the next one, Jeff. Yes. 1 through 3. No, keep going once. It says Orchard Prairie North sign proposal at the top. I want to talk about that one first. So that one, correct. So you'll see the 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 4. Those numbers on the map correspond then with the signs that Ryland was proposing, and then the village's response is outlined following that text. So basically, with these signs that are up there, the number 1 and number 2 were slightly too large, so we would be recommending that they diminish the size of those signs to meet our requirements. And then, Jeff, if you flip to the Saratoga Springs sign proposal, this is the one where there were quite a few more signs. Those of you that might be familiar with it, there are existing signs 53335 along Orchard Road, and there's a picture in the packet of all of those that will be soon on village property, and that is why those signs are not being recommended, because consistently we have not allowed signs on village property. Also, sign number 1 exceeds the size. However, the location would be acceptable, and then sign number 2 is in Oswego. So if you go through that packet, you will see next to each one of the numbers coinciding with their exhibit, sort of our response to what we would be recommending. So that is sort of what you have before you for your consideration. And I will stop there and answer any questions you have about what is being proposed or recommended from staff.
Okay, and then two gentlemen are here from Ryland.
Correct. Omar Rodriguez and John Carroll are here from Ryland, and
And if at any time, if they'd like to speak or answer questions? If
Yes,
there's questions from
they
the
would,
board,
for sure.
you can present them now, and then we'll have
Yeah, I
gentlemen
think
come down to this podium.
I had a question for Jamie. What's the impact fees per house that we collect? Do you have that?
Which impact fee?
For the taxing district, let's say school or,
The school's impact fee is, this is an estimate based on size. They're all based on number of bedrooms, but it's based on a use table. I don't know if you remember, the Oswego School District uses a table that increases and decreases. It's variable, but the estimate we're using just to characterize the full picture is $5,500, and then an additional $2,430 for a 4-bedroom inland cash fees. So
so when we collect those
$8,000.
fees, how soon before I have to pay those back to the taxing districts?
We pay them out periodically.
Is that by request or?
Yeah, I mean, usually they will call them requests. The fire districts call libraries, we do get calls for them.
Because I know we have, what, $2 million of impact fees we owe different taxing bodies?
Not quite that much, but we do have some on hand that we haven't paid out yet.
I think trustee Bond had a question too.
Just to clarify, there had been some discussion about a deviation from our building material standards.
correct, there was discussion about that, and village staff would not be recommending that, and it would not be included in this. We are only recommending the extension of the fee reduction.
Okay, are there any other questions? If not, I'd ask the gentleman to like to speak.
Thank you very much. As Jamie indicated, my name is John Carroll. I'm Division President for Ryland Homes, Chicago Division. With me is our Vice President of Land, Omar Rodriguez. And first of all, I want to thank you all. We're really excited about having an opportunity to look at some additional lots in Montgomery. As most of you probably know, we have built, we're wrapping up just over 1,000 homes in combined Blackberry Crossing, which began in, I believe, in 2002 or 2003. And the first lots, the first sales were a lot easier than the sales and construction in the last few years. Obviously, everybody knows what's going on with the housing market, but we certainly have appreciated the partnership that has existed between the Village of Montgomery and Ryland Homes going forward. Having said that, the market is still very fragile right now, particularly in the Chicago metropolitan area. There's a lot of press and discussion about the recovery of the housing market. We have divisions in 17 markets throughout the country, and at the moment, we're more of the caboose here in this market than the engine on the train. But we are seeing some signs of life, and we're optimistic that with the right economics to a project, it makes some sense to go forward. But it is very different than it has been in the past as far as how the numbers work. And in the past, I've told other bodies such as yourself, it really wasn't a question of whether we could make a profit on the neighborhood. It was how much we were going to make. Now the question is, can we or can we not? So it is very different, and I'm not expecting anyone to be holding spaghetti dinners for builders to try to raise money, but it is our business. We are trying to figure out what's the best way to come at it. So when we talk about the building material discussions that we had, now those were discussions along the lines of, could we use CPVC water pipe versus copper, and those types of things, not just things that we're using elsewhere, et cetera, to try to figure out how do we get our arms around making these homes as efficient to build as possible, because as you know, the market has, the prices overall across the board have gone down significantly. So even buying these lots from inland and trying to negotiate a good price on it, the economics are very important. That's why we've also requested the fees to just be extended through the end. 2014, in today's market, if you sell if you can sell 2 homes a month in a given community, that's considered a fairly successful project today. In Blackberry Crossing, we've been lucky. We've been more about 3 a month over the last year and a half, 2 years or so there. So, and again, I think that has to do with Montgomery and our product and a lot of other things there. But, you know, we still have to make sure that we're successful. And so if we can maintain that type of a pace, if it is 2 a month, okay, and there's 57 total lots, okay, then we're going to go beyond the summer of 2014. You know, if we are able to do something along the lines of what we're able to do in Blackberry Crossing, we probably would be coming in right around that. So when we talk about extending it through the life of these 2 neighborhoods, building them out, you know, I don't think it's an unreasonable request to ask for, and I'd appreciate your consideration of that. The other thing to keep in mind is that one of our, as we sat down and talked with staff and talked through all the issues, and we spent a lot of time out driving around. As you all know, D.R. Horton Cambridge came in to Orchard Prairie North and tried to restart that neighborhood. And, you know, we're not successful at it, or at least they deemed they were not, and they pulled out of it. And, you know, so we think that we're going to do a better job. We think that our product is better. We think we have a better approach. But obviously, there's risk involved in it as well. And being able to, you know, get the capital that we need here in Chicago, competing with divisions all over the country, okay, we think that, you know, we really have to get it right. This is not, you know, the neighborhood has, you know, closed down. There were several builders in there in the past. D.R. Horton took a run at it. They weren't able to make it work. So when we stand here and say, you know, this is what we think we need to make it happen, okay, you know, we're really, you know, we want it to be successful. We don't think, we certainly can't afford to have it not work out, and I don't think the village can afford to have it not work out. So of all the things that we're here to talk about, and certainly answer any questions that you have, probably the marketing and the signage is one of the biggest issues, okay? Because, you know, in the old days, we would build a whole bunch of models and big parking areas and all kinds of things to market from. Our anticipated approach to the marketing of these 2 neighborhoods would be to market them from existing Blackberry Crossing, from our models that are there. We are going to have to spend some money and fix the sales office up. We've been there a while. We're doing some new, really neat, interactive, internet-based presentations, so we're going to have to update that into the sales office there, so we've got to spend some money to update it. But we are still going to be, you know, what we call marketing remotely. And so our biggest fear is that, you know, when you take a look at either one of the neighborhoods, but start with, say, Saratoga, you know, you have some models that are out there from a previous builder that are closed down. There's still some signage there. You come in there from the commercial property, and it's a little confusing, you know, as far as what's going on there. And for us to try to just throw up some lot signs that say Ryland on them and expect to be able to sell homes is probably not realistic, okay? What we really want to do is make sure that we are a presence, because I think that the neighborhoods need to feel that they are being revitalized, they are being restarted, that there's a builder there that's committed to building out these neighborhoods. And in order to do that, we've got to make our presence known. Okay? The only way we can really do that is through signage and through putting the Ryland name out there as much as possible. I know that signs and off-site signs and subdivision signs have been a big issue in the past, but I think that it's something that we really would like you to consider. And Omar has some of the specifics. I think we're in agreement on a lot of the stuff, but there's a couple of signs that I think I'd like you to consider between now and May to give us approval to go forward on.
How many houses did you sell last year? You know?
I believe it was 42.
So you really, your signage, you only want for, like you say, till the project's over, but do you feel like you'll have it up for 2-3 years then?
I would say 3 years at the most.
If it's more than 3 years, we've done something wrong, so.
You'll be dealing with somebody else.
It won't be us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think you wanted to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Just quickly, you know, in general for us, I think there's kind of 2 concerns with the signage. I'll make kind of the blanket statement first, which is with respect to the size of some of these signs, the staff's recommendation is consistent with the ordinance. You know, it's been our experience that, especially in a situation where much of this traffic is going to be drive-by driven because of the community locations, et cetera, that the sign size requirements as specified in the ordinance really won't achieve the desired effect of bringing that traffic from Orchard Prairie North and/or Saratoga Springs to our existing sales office in Blackberry Crossing and allowing us to convert that. So I'd really respectfully request that the board consider the signage recommendations and really with an eye towards staying in line with the sizes that we requested. We've done it based on a significant amount of market research and some studies with regards to what really drives traffic and what size is and isn't effective. It's important to note, are all temporary signs. So as Trustee Lee mentioned, we will be removing them as soon as we sell out. Our hope is that 3 years or less. Frankly, we'd like to see it significantly less than that. The two issues that present themselves with respect to the sizes are the on-site signs. My understanding is the 64 square foot minimum. Really, we'd like a couple in the 120 square foot range. And then the off-site signs are in the mid-30s. And that's going to be very challenging when someone's driving up and down Orchard Road at 45 miles an hour. You know, a sign that's 32 square feet, it's going to be very difficult to pick up on that as you're doing your commute as a potential buyer. The second issue is with respect to Saratoga Springs. You know, this is a challenge that's just kind of presented itself, as my understanding is the village is getting ready to accept the common area along Orchard. There are two existing signs there that I believe the village is getting ready to pull down, and the village's position is that they don't want signage on the village property, which we can certainly agree and understand in general if they're permanent signs. We're hoping that the board would reconsider in this situation. There's really no good, if you don't mind pulling up the Saratoga Springs map so I can just reference it quickly. Yeah, if you don't mind.
It was on the map. I know. Jamie sent me the other way.
So the challenge that presents itself, if you can scroll up just a tiny bit more. In addition to the 2 5s are the existing signs there, which really we think will grab a lot of traffic in a community that really needs to be accessed through commercial property, so it's not readily evident from the street. The other challenge for us is going to be the 2 number 4 signs. There's a comment in the packet that references those signs being okay as long as they're not on village or government property. The issue is going to be, Jamie included a copy of the lots that we're purchasing, and, you know, just in general, the issue that is going to present itself is there's not really a place to put those signs at the entrances. So you will be driving by Saratoga Homes abandoned models before you get to any of these signs, and that's going to cause a lot of confusion. We need a way to be able to identify and distinguish this community as an active community, and if you need to be, you know, several lots, 3/4 of the way, halfway into the community before we can identify that, that's going to be a challenge for us. So in both of those situations, I think we would really we would request that the board reconsider these recommendations.
Are there any questions of either Mr. Carroll or Mr. Rodriguez? Yes.
I have one
Andy.
quick one.
Go ahead, trustee.
Some of the signs that are displayed for some of these subdivisions say SSA or no SSA. I know these have an SSA. Are you guys going to at least notify the residents or the customers when they come in, they have an SSA in that subdivision?
We do, and that's part of our contract process as well. I mean, we disclose that stuff as part of that process.
I know I bought a Ryland home, and you guys didn't disclose that to us in 2004.
I'm sorry?
You didn't disclose that to us in 2004 when we bought a Ryland home.
We certainly should have.
Yes, you should have. There's a lot of residents out west on Blackberry Crossing that feel the same way. You guys disclose that to them. The sales office didn't disclose it either when they went in there. So that's something I hope you work on.
Yeah, certainly, and it's definitely a standard part of our process. It is important for us to disclose that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Attorney Anderson, I just have a question for you. If the board did want to deviate from staff's recommendations and say permit the signs on village property, what would be the process you would recommend to do that?
What we'd want to avoid is just doing it and then opening up the entire village to it, because if you think about it, if you're going to waive your requirements, then why wouldn't the same waiver apply everywhere? So you'd have to find a basis to do that. The most likely, and I have not studied this, so it's a little bit off the cuff, but I'm thinking, a PUD type amendment. I don't like sign variances because I think it's hard to meet the standards. That would probably be the most likely, so it would have to go through the Plan Commission. And I'm not even sure that's even the best remedy, but that's the one at least that's jumping out at me tonight.
One thing I'd like to add is that I think what's going on is the homeowners association was working with the village on this area of property. And meanwhile, we were looking to make the purchase, and we saw the signs there, and so our understanding was that we would have the ability to do that, and we really just wanted to check in with the village and make sure that it would be okay to reface those and use them. And then we found out after the fact that this was in the works. So it's kind of it's really a timing thing as much as anything else. If that wasn't going on correct, it would not be.
I should probably clarify, I was just talking about, in general, any relief from the sign ordinance. If we're talking about the sign, if the request is to keep signs that are on village property, you certainly are within your rights to allow people to do that. They should still comply with your zoning ordinance standards. But again, if you do it, if you start letting people put signs on village property here, that's not even a PUD really. That's more of a proprietary function of you. And the question will then be, why can't somebody else do it in some other location?
Don't we have an ordinance, no signs in the right-of-way?
Yes, sir, we do.
Because we picked them all up before, over on the east side of town and the west side of town.
We prosecuted people for doing it.
That's right, no signs in the right-of-way whatsoever.
But all I'm saying is the board can choose to vary from that.
I understand what you're saying.
But if you do, let's figure out how to do it, or are you going to let everybody do it?
That's why you shouldn't let nobody do it.
Okay. Any other comments? Trustee Bond, did you have?
On one, if I may, on the residential application of signs, what would be the setback on these signs that would be in the vacant lots? You were looking for something in the neighborhood of 32 square feet or greater? Was it 48 square feet?
On the individual signs?
Yes.
Basically be just outside the right of way.
Yeah. In terms of location?
Square footage?
In terms of the total variance?
And the setback, yes. How close to the street would they be?
He's talking about
The ordinance reads that there's a quarter-mile separation from each other, and then that no sign should be closer to an existing residence than 300 feet.
And this would be essentially Mayfield Drive, south of Aldi's?
Mm-hmm.
There have been a number of traffic concerns expressed in that area, and I'm a little reluctant to introduce more driver distraction to add to that. So I guess I'm still looking for the setback from this street. What would the setback be?
I can get the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know offhand.
Well, it would definitely be outside the right-of-way, which would be
Right.
15 feet behind the back of curb, likely.
Right. And their position sort of towards the back of that open space strip. So it has to be another 30 feet from there at least, I would say.
One other question, if I may, with regard to Orchard Road. Are there alternative locations than the ones that are being identified north or south of that particular area? Have we exhausted all the options?
That is something that did come up. There may be alternative locations that we would permit signs that would, because it would not be village property. However, we only evaluated the proposed locations.
one last for Attorney Anderson. Would a pre-existence be a factor in your consideration?
It could be, except for property that you end up owning. And if I understand it right, the pre-existing ones are on, or will be on, village property shortly. As soon as it's your property, then no one has rights to it except the village,
So who owns it currently?
presumably the HOA. In fact, I know that to be the fact.
It is the HOA. Any other comments? Any questions?
I just had a few comments that I'll add. When we talked about the $2,000 fee waiver for residential homes about a year and a half ago, this is exactly kind of what we intended, somebody to come in and presumably you guys to come in and buy up some of these defunct subdivisions. So I'd like to see that come to life. My only comment would be that you guys have been here for a number of years. You're one of our only builders currently, so I'd like to see staff and the board working with you on these defunct subdivisions. And moving forward with this, I don't know about the signs in the right-of-way versus that. I'd like to see that run through Plan Commission if possible, if we figure out some remedy that works. But we've been pretty strict on our signs with other folks, so hope you can appreciate that. Thank you.
I also want to say that I'm happy to see that you want to build in Montgomery and continue to do so. And we certainly would like to, see you finish out this subdivision, and, hopefully we can resolve the issues that we're presented with, and with the signage and so on, because it makes for a better community and existence for us and a good relationship with you folks. So we're happy you're still building here. Is there anything that, Jamie, anything else you want to add?
Does anyone else have any thoughts on the signage concept of what they would like to see happen there, besides Matt?
Well, the number 4 by Caterpillar, if I remember that sign, it is like right across from the I can't even think of the name, the kid's place.
Hoagies?
It's right on the corner, so it's really there. It's like a big empty lot right there, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not close to anybody. I don't see anything wrong with the 4s, but again, it's these 3s and 5s that we have to do something with. And that Katy Court and some of those, that's a beautiful area. I think with your houses in that area, if you keep them to that standard, that Katy Court with the trail, the water, the cemetery, but a lot of people would like that because nobody can get behind them. But those lots are just great lots that Inland owns.
And we can work with staff on giving some more information on the setback and where they're actually going to sit. We should have provided a little bit more detail to you.
And maybe that would help resolve some of the issues that we're faced with here. Because I certainly, do not want to see the signage issue as a deterrent to you coming in and doing those.
I appreciate that, and I can't understate the importance of being able to market in the way that we're coming at it. I mean, we have restarted several busted neighborhoods in this market, and we learned the hard way in a couple locations, not looking at this aspect of it closely enough and just focusing on a number, and it's an integral part of the overall plan to restart a neighborhood like this. You have to get some energy going. We would anticipate starting some inventory spec homes in each location as well to try to get some activity going there. I mean, it really is a matter of, for anyone around who lives in these neighborhoods, who's been through them, that's what it takes. It takes someone to say, wow, this builder's really committed to this place. This really is going to go again. This isn't just a flash in the pan. So please hear me when I say I can't really overstate that.
Jamie, do you feel you have feedback on the signs on 30, where they were wanting they're requesting the 10 by 12 signs, and our maximum size is 64 square feet? We didn't really have a lot of discussion on those.
Trustee Browley stated that he wanted the staff and board to work together, and he'd like to see any deviations run through the Plan Commission.
That would be my suggestion, to go back to Plan Commission on the signage. Any other comments? So do you feel that you have the feedback you need at this point in time? We thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any new or unfinished board or business to come before the board this evening? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment of an employee, 5 ILCS 120/C1,
How come that's not on the agenda?
because it wasn't printed on here, that's all.
Executive session is on.
Executive session is on. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Take the roll, please.
Trustee Lee?
Yeah.
Trustee Heinz?
Yay.
Trustee Brawley?
Yes.
Trustee Keck?
Yes.
Trustee Kazmir?
Yay.
Trustee Bond?
Yes?